work with Pantone colors and complicated images like this photo here is to use something called a duotone. And a duotone is an option in Photoshop that might be really useful for those of you working with color. What you'll need to do first is go up to Image Mode and change your image mode to grayscale. So this means we're going to discard our color information. And now we can change the mode from grayscale to duotone. Now, of course, if we're working with monotone, that means we're only working with one color. And so you get to choose the ink here. I'm going to choose a Pantone color, right? Because I want it to be really consistent when it's printed. So I'm going to go to my color library and I'm going to select a dark Pantone color. Let's do something kind of a dark purple. And see, this is kind of giving us a really cool look. It has kind of an old-fashioned look a little bit. And when this prints, it's going to print very consistently this color. Now, you also have access to this duotone curve, which is the line that's located right next to your duotone color swatch here. And you can change the quality of your picture by manipulating the duotone curve. Right, so you can see how I can kind of lighten up certain parts of the image. Create some interesting effects, right? Now, you can also add more than just one ink to your image. So now I'm going to go back to Image Mode and I'm going to go to Duotone. And I'm going to select the duotone option here. Now I have two inks that I can work with. So maybe I'm going to go to my color libraries. I'll select, hey, that's pretty cool, a Pantone yellow. And I'll select a maybe a blue. How about that? It's bluish purple. It also gives us a pretty interesting result. And if you play with the duotone curve here, right, you can choose to have that blue color showing up in a certain part of the spectrum and that yellow showing up in another part of your values, and get some interesting results that way. Okay, so you've probably also seen that in this duotone option here, there's also Tritone and Quattro, which you can guess what that does. Now let's just try and make a pretty picture. I'm going to select from my color libraries, I'll select a kind of purplish black there. I'll select just some random colors in my color libraries here. Some blue. Orange, why not? And something bright, like yellow or really light pink. Okay, so now play with your slider, see what you can get, and see how you can kind of add colors in certain parts of your value range. If you're just going for a really cool experimental look, Duotone is a little bit cumbersome to use. So I would recommend doing your experimentation using gradient map. Now the first thing we're going to have to do is change our color mode once again. I'm going to go up to the top of the screen and change my mode from grayscale to RGB color. Now I'm going to go down to my adjustment layer icon. My adjustment layers are located at the bottom of the layer panel. There's a little icon that looks like a yin-yang symbol. If you click on that and you click on gradient map, then double click on the gradient editor itself, you have access to a whole bunch of different gradients that can show you some really different looks for your picture. And then you can also double click on any of these colors, change the color, and really get a very targeted result that is a little bit more easy to manipulate than the Duotone. Now you may see a whole bunch of gradients here in my gradient editor. Guess what? You can load gradients into your gradient editor as well by clicking on the gear button and then choosing any of these gradient libraries here. For example, special effects. We'll click append, and you can see some of those really cool, interesting, different looks.